Hello, my friends. Pastor Josh here, and this is the Redeeming Grace Church Weekly Update for June 20 of 2022. This coming Sunday night, June 26th, we have our family meeting. We do those every fourth Sunday night, same time, same place. What we will be doing is hopefully in the next day or two, I'll be sending you the questionnaires that have been filled out by our elder candidates. You'll have a chance to then spend this week to look them over. I pray that you will, and we'll think through then follow-up questions. And then what we'll do for the majority of our time at the family meeting is put each of the candidates up one at a time and just ask them whatever questions we have. We'll just get as far as we can. If we don't get to all three or we still have more questions, then that's fine. We actually don't plan to vote this meeting. We're going to postpone that just to give ourselves plenty of time to make sure that we have great confidence in what we're doing and that everybody has all the questions answered that they want answered. So that will be the primary thing that we'll do at the family meeting. I have a budget request that we will consider together, potentially using some of our funds to help out with some things that Freeway Ministry is doing. So I'll pitch that to you and we can discuss whether or not we want to fund their proposal to us. And then I think that's basically it for the family meeting in terms of the big stuff. We'll have all the ordinary things that I report on, and there may be some other things that come up as well. But if you're a covenant member and you're able to be there Sunday night, it's an important meeting, and we want you to make the time to be there as much as possible. So also after the family meeting, the Vegas mission trip team is going to be flying out Sunday evening. I think at like 10:30. It's just the cheapest flight, and so they'll have an opportunity to come to the family meeting and then go on the trip. They come back July 3rd, and so just be praying for them as they work with Club Christ, which is an inner city ministry that works with kids, led by our dear friend Lauren McCammon, who is the daughter of Brent Reeves, who was the senior pastor I served with at our previous church at South Canyon Baptist, and a dear friend. And a great opportunity for us to come alongside them in some day camp stuff that they're doing this next week. And so pray for I think it's 4 of our ladies that are going to just come alongside Lauren and be a part of that. So pray for that. I think there's a way for you to donate swimsuits and towels. We've got a good return. Thank you for being responsive to that opportunity. We have a lot already, but you can still bring more this coming Sunday, and that would be great if they actually had a surplus, like maybe more than they needed for kids that are yet to be reached by their ministry. It's totally fine to bring more of those this next Sunday. One other thing that's just going to be kind of unique is the Sunday after that, July 3rd. There is a whole lot of you that are going to be gone. And so that's going to be, I think, a little bit shorter service. In fact, I don't know that we have any of our musicians that are going to be available on that Sunday. So it might literally just be some prayer and preaching. And so Bree and I've tried to talk through what that means for childcare, or what we should do if we should go ahead and kind of lean into that and make it sort of a unique service in some ways. Sounds like it will be anyway. But just so you know, July 3rd, if you're planning to invite some folks, or you're serving in some sort of area somewhere, just know that Sunday is looking like it's going to be a little bit different, just because of a lot of people with other plans to not be with us that Sunday. So just keep that in mind. I think the last thing is that this Sermon on the Mount sermon series has been excellent. I have really enjoyed it. It's been good, especially coming out of Genesis, where we were kind of taken out of our world and transported to another world to wander around with Abraham in the desert and all these characters from the Old Testament. It was good for us to get out of the problems and issues of our lives and world and go and see how God has worked in a different time and place that is so critical. It's the foundation by which God's work is built on leading up to us. And so that was good for us to get out of our chaotic world and go into a different chaotic world and see how God is faithful to people, very flawed people like us. And so that was a good process. Now we're switched into the Sermon on the Mount, and then this fall we're going to go into the book of James. And now all of a sudden, Jesus gets into our lives. It gets into our business. So that's been such a fun change to go from transported to another world, out of my world, to now Jesus is like coming into my heart and challenging my desires, my thoughts, my actions. We're just going to have many, many months ahead of us of doing the fine-tuning surgery in our own hearts through the Sermon on the Mount in the book of James. And so let's lean into that. We have all of the messages are recorded. You can get them on YouTube. You can get them on podcast. You can get them on our website. And we're just listing those out, just slowly building out this series. And it would be a good one to share with others. The sermon that I preached yesterday, I think may be the longest sermon I've preached. It was really long. It was a challenging text. I don't want them to be that long, but I'm going to let the text dictate how much time we spend in that. So that is kind of is what it is. But I got so much good feedback after the message, which is part of why we end up with long messages, is I get encouragement from it, and then I feel like it's okay to go really, really long. But I am grateful that for the feedback, that there was really some light bulbs that went on in people's minds on how the Old Testament and New Testament relate together, what the law is intended to do, and how the gospel connects to the law and both saves us apart from the law, but then brings us into a life in conformity to the law, in its heart sense, in terms of righteousness and holiness before God. And then ultimately, we're going to live in a kingdom where all righteousness is perfect. We're perfected, and everything around us is perfected. And so anyway, thank you for the good feedback, and I'm assuming that if it was helpful for you, it might be helpful to others as well. So if you want to share our podcast, you want to share some of these sermon messages with others, or point people to them, we would love for them to have a fruitfulness beyond just the moment on Sunday mornings. That's the primary area. That's who I'm preaching them for. I'm not preaching for the internet. But the fact that we have the ability to take those and for people to listen to them, and maybe even you who were in the room to listen to it again, there might be more leftovers that you could be nourished by hearing it again and again. I always listen to every message, even the ones I've preached more than one time, for personal evaluation, but then also just to remind me of the work that God was doing in my heart during that week of sermon preparation as well. So make sure you lean into this Sermon on the Mount series, read ahead, do some hard Bible study ahead of time, so that then when we come together, we can get the most nourishment possible out of the words of Jesus in Matthew 5-7. So I love you. Let me know if there's any way that I can serve you, pray for you, connect with you, encourage you, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.